The Little Mouse and the Cheese Festival. Once upon a time, in the heart of a bustling little town called Maplewood, there lived a tiny mouse named Millie. Millie wasn't just any mouse. She was clever, adventurous, and always full of questions about the world around her. She lived with her family in a cozy nook beneath the floorboards of the old bakery, where the scent of fresh bread and melting cheese filled their home each morning. One golden sunrise, as Millie peered out from her tiny window, she noticed something extraordinary. The town square was decorated with colourful ribbons, banners, and balloons in every shade of the rainbow. People were bustling about, setting up stalls and tables, and laughter rang out like chimes in the breeze. Millie's whiskers twitched with excitement. She scampered over to the window ledge, her eyes wide with curiosity. Today was no ordinary day. It was the annual Maplewood Cheese Festival. Every year, the townspeople celebrated the Cheese Festival with parades, music, and of course, every kind of cheese one could imagine. There was creamy brie, tangy cheddar, crumbly blue, and even a mysterious cheese from faraway lands that glowed with a gentle purple hue. Millie's heart raced. She had heard stories about the festival from her older brothers and sisters, but she had never dared to see it for herself. She longed to taste the legendary moonlight cheese, a cheese so rare it was said to sparkle under the stars and melt on your tongue with the sweetness of a summer evening. But there was one problem. Mice were not exactly invited to the cheese festival. In fact, the townspeople protected their cheese carefully, for they knew that mice, with their tiny noses and insatiable appetites, were always on the lookout for a nibble. Still, Millie was determined. She wanted to be a part of the celebration, not just watch from afar. She wanted to make new friends, share stories, and just maybe taste that magical moonlight cheese. As Millie pondered her plan, her best friend Pip scurried in, his ears twitching with excitement. Pip was a field mouse, smaller than Millie, with a knack for squeezing through the tiniest cracks and an endless supply of optimism.
"Did you see, Millie?" Pip squeaked. "It's today, the festival. I heard there's going to be a cheese sculpting contest, a cheese rolling race, and... oh! The mayor is unveiling a giant cheese wheel."
Millie nodded, her eyes sparkling. "We have to go, Pip. We just have to. But how do we get in? The humans will never let us join." Pip tapped his chin thoughtfully. "What if we go in disguise?" Millie's whiskers twitched. "A disguise?"
"Yes. If we dress up like something else, maybe no one will notice us. We'll blend right in."
The two friends rummaged through the treasures they had collected. Bits of ribbon, a thimble, shiny buttons, and a scrap of blue velvet. After much giggling and creativity, they fashioned Millie a tiny hat from a walnut shell and tied a ribbon under her chin. Pip wore a feathered mask made from a lost bird's plume. With their disguises in place, they set out on their grand adventure. They scurried through secret tunnels beneath the bakery, emerging into the sunlight behind a row of market stalls. The festival was even more wonderful than they had imagined. There were mountains of cheese wheels stacked high, children laughing as they tossed hoops, musicians playing cheerful tunes, and the scent of baked cheese pies drifting through the air. Millie and Pip kept close to the shadows, but everywhere they looked, there was something new to discover. They watched as a group of children painted pictures of their favourite cheeses, and they marvelled at a juggler tossing cheese wedges high into the sky. But as they tiptoed closer to the main stage, Millie's nose caught a whiff of something truly special. A scent both sweet and savoury, rich and delicate. She followed her nose, weaving through the crowds, until she saw it. Perched on a pedestal, surrounded by sparkling lights, was the legendary moonlight cheese. It shimmered with a gentle glow, its surface flecked with stars of silver and gold. The townspeople gathered around, admiring its beauty, while the mayor prepared to cut the first slice. Millie's heart pounded. She wanted to taste it more than anything, but how could she get close without being seen? Just then, a commotion broke out nearby. A little girl had lost her balloon, and it floated high into the air, caught on the festival's tallest banner. The crowd gasped as the balloon tugged at the ribbons, threatening to topple the whole display. Without thinking, Millie darted into action. She scurried up the pole, nimbly weaving between knots and bows, until she reached the balloon. With careful teeth, she untangled the string and set the balloon free, sending it floating gently down to the grateful little girl below. The crowd cheered, and the mayor called out, "Whoever rescued the balloon, please come forward." Millie hesitated, unsure what to do. Pip nudged her gently. "Go on, Millie, you deserve it." Taking a deep breath, Millie stepped into the light. The townspeople gasped in surprise. A little mouse, wearing a walnut shell hat and a blue ribbon, stood bravely before them. For a moment, there was silence. Then, the little girl who had lost her balloon ran up and knelt beside Millie. "Thank you, little mouse," she said softly. "You saved my balloon." The mayor cleared his throat. "It seems our festival has a very special guest. Today we celebrate not only cheese, but kindness, bravery, and friendship. Millie, would you do us the honor of tasting the first slice of moonlight cheese?" Millie's eyes widened in disbelief. She glanced at Pip, who beamed with pride. With trembling paws, Millie stepped up to the pedestal. The mayor carefully cut a sliver of the magical cheese and offered it to her. As she nibbled, the flavors danced on her tongue, creamy, sweet, and sparkling with a hint of moonlight. It was even more wonderful than she had dreamed. The crowd cheered, and soon everyone was laughing and sharing cheese together. The townspeople realized that even the smallest creatures could bring joy and courage to their festival. From that day on, the cheese festival was open to everyone, mice and humans alike. Millie and Pip became honored guests each year, sharing stories, tasting new cheeses, and reminding everyone that kindness and bravery can make even the wildest dreams come true. And so, in the heart of Maplewood, under a sky twinkling with stars, the little mouse and her friends celebrated together, their hearts full of happiness, their bellies full of cheese, and their world just a little bit brighter. As the festival drew to a close and lanterns glowed softly in the night, Millie curled up beside her family, her dreams filled with adventure and laughter. She knew that tomorrow would bring new questions, new friends, and perhaps a new adventure waiting just around the corner. And so, with a whisker twitch and a happy sigh, Millie drifted off to sleep, the memory of the cheese festival shining bright in her heart forever and ever.